G'day guys. Okay, today's video is it seems it flew by. It's not meant to be a quickie, but it turned out really quick. So I pulled out a 6x6 paper pad that I haven't used in nearly 12 months. And it is the Paper Rose, what do they call it? Paper Rose, did I write it down? Hang on, I'm on the wrong page. Yes, I did write it down. I was on the wrong page. I was looking at the wrong video. Paper Rose Studio INKY Antics 1.0 in the 6x6 collection. Now this is, I love the Paper Rose Studio everything. I got to tell you, I love them all. They are an Aussie company, and I have to say, they are so bright and joyful and exciting and all of that fun stuff. It's fantastic. I love these things. They're beautiful. So if you like the look of mixed media, but you don't like getting messy, there are so many companies out there that are creating products for you to be able to get the mixed media look without all the mess. So there is so many of them out there now. Paper Rose Studio just happens to be one of them. Now, all of that being said, I'm having a bit of a play here. This is me I sat down, I had a photo. I'm still stuck with the photos that I've got printed because I'm still waiting on my ink to arrive so I can print some fresh photos. I've got other ideas in my head, but I need the photos to match it. So I guess I could always create the layout and then add the photo to it later. I could do that. That's not really my preference. That's not the way I like to scrap, but you know, give it a crack. I'll hold off until the ink comes, I think. Now, I pulled out my CM corner rounders and I rounded the corners. Now, I haven't rounded corners for ages. I have been on a square corner deal for ages. So I thought, you know what? Let's go back. This week seems to be the go back to things you used to do that you no longer do, and not for any real reason, just because you just do it differently now. And it's not that I dislike it at all. I love rounded corners. So I thought, let's revisit it. Why not? So this particular layout, now I will let you know further on in the layout, if you stick around and have a look, I do actually have a quick tip video in my scrapbooking techniques and tips playlist. If you want to know how I create those little the little liquid pearl dots that I show you later on in this video, so stick around and have a look at that. But you can also see, if you want to go and have it in real time, up close, zoomed right in to see how I do it, there's one of those as well. I will try, and I've never done a card on here before, but I will try and link it in this video. Let's see if I can do it. Stick around and see if I can do it. Okay, so basically I wanted to go with this particular photo. We're over on Bribie Island, for those that don't live near me. We're over on Bribie Island. It was for my niece or my nephew's birthday. It was freezing cold. It was not exactly beach weather, but you know, kids don't care. So I just happened to snap this photo, and it was just one of those ones. This was probably the biggest Angela ever got in her entire growing phase of life. This was probably her chunkiest, and the only reason she looks chunky in this is because I had her rugged up so much. It wasn't even funny. I loved this outfit, but she stayed the same size for so long that she was in summer and still the same size, and she was walking. So it cracks me up. So now I'm just gluing down my white base to my black base. like I said, I'm not going mixed media crazy on this one. I do pull out a little bit shortly, but it's not much at all. It really is not much at all. I really like how that sort of falls and having the rounded corners. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it looks good. I like it. So I did consider actually rounding the corners of the white and the black cardstock as well. And now I'm sitting here looking at it. I think I should have. Leave me a comment below. Would you have corner rounded the actual 12 by 12 to match with everything else? I'm currently thinking I should have. So this is my little press and seal hack that I use. I'm putting my finger on it. I don't know why I'm putting my finger on it, because it's this one I didn't actually stick down, but it's so simple to use this dealio. It is the best. I absolutely love doing that. I'm so glad I thought of doing that. And it's literally bred new life into my old CRICUT mats. It's so good. And it just takes a bit of water and a bit of cloth to, see, simple. Clean it off and it's ready to go again. So now I didn't print, the black's not the same. It was bothering me, but it's okay. Now, you can see here that I've got another title on here. I had to do a quick cleanup because I was getting like crafter lanches happening either side of me. And I don't scrap easily when that happens. It bugs me. Now, I'm just doing one. I haven't done one of these titles for a while. I absolutely love doing my titles like this. Creating an offset and then using my Distress Oxide inks to create a nice bit of color on the, I'm using my blending brushes to blend the two inks together. These are my mini blending brushes. I purchased mine from, I think it was Amazon I got mine from. You can get them everywhere now. Pink Fresh Studio have them. I mean, I'll be honest, they are a lot dearer than where I got mine from. Mine work just fine. And as you can imagine, I use mine a fair bit. And mine work fine. So hunt around. I prefer, depending on the product, I like to save money in areas that I can then spend money on more expensive. So I would rather buy the Distress Oxide inks and the VersaFine Clear inks, and I'd rather do that than spend triple the price on some brushes. That's just me. So I'm a bit of a Scrooge like that. But if I'm going to Scrooge it, I need it to be, they still need to work well. So if I'm going to recommend it to you guys, it needs to work well. So now this is, it's coming along nicely. I'm having a bit of a fiddle because I need to change my CRICUT blade in my CRICUT. That's what I need to do, and I'm being slack because last time I changed it, my poor Jiminy had some issues and it was bothering me a lot. So I'm being resistant to changing the blade, but I will cut nothing further until I change the blade. So from this point forward, so guess what I'll be doing today? Cutting something on it after I change the blade to make sure it works. Now, glued these two bits together. This layout has got 0 dimension to it. I have added no foam tape, no nothing. This is one of my flat layouts, okay? If you've been here for a little while, you know that I create lots of texture and I add a lot of different things. Sorry, that was paper towel. I'm doing some splats. Now, these are my mica paints that I make up. And all I do is I make them in these little containers and they sit on my desk. They are made with gum arabic powder and mica powder and water. And whenever I want to add some shiny mica-y goodness to my page, I go ahead and I use this particular product. I just have to spritz a little bit of water in there and it rehydrates and it works perfectly. none of the mica comes off, and essentially I've got every color of mica that I have, I've got the ability to do this with. So, and I bought just the cheap Poppy Crafts mica powders from Crafts Online, and they work an absolute treat. So that's the only real mixed media that I used on this layout. When you talk about, you know, paints or inks or, you know, that sort of real messy stuff, this was it. And I put it down, as you know, I do struggle unless I'm specifically going for that really messy look. I do like splats, but I like them to be on there in a purposeful way. So unless I'm going to town and I'm just putting them all over my page, this is how I prefer to do it. Now, I left this in because I want to show you guys that where there's a will, there's a way. I decided I'm on a bit of a sewing on my layouts thing at the moment, and I wanted to do some hand sewing around these to sort of make them look like they're all attached to get together. So I went around and I put all these holes all the way around all these squares. And do you want a spoiler alert? I hate it. Absolutely hated it. So don't worry. Stick with me because I show you what I do to fix it. And I pulled out the sewing, I pulled out the threads, and it wasn't the thread. It just didn't look right. Sewing on top of this inky paper, it didn't look right. I used black. I used all my go-to color theory and texture theory. I'm doing quotations in the air. You know, texture theory. I don't think there's such a thing, but you know, we'll wing it. Why can't I call it texture theory? Why not? So I gave it a go and I started sewing, and you will probably agree with me about here. It doesn't look right. I did longer stitches, but it just looked really messy. It didn't look like it was meant to be there. So I left this bit in to show you that not everything works. Not everything. Some weeks I have really bad weeks and I have a few things that just don't work. So I ditched that, and this is my solution to the problem. So now I have to figure out a way to cover the holes. Otherwise, I'm going to have to cut all those pieces again and waste all that cardstock. That was not an option for me because I don't like wasting. I like to try and revive things rather than replace things where possible. So I decided to go around. I apologize if you can hear my dogs. They're barking. And yeah, so I went around and I did a bit of tone on tone, and I was doing some of these little liquid pearl drops that I do. Now, if you want to see, this is where I will drop the card in, if I can do it. Otherwise, I'll link the video in the description below for the scrapbooking techniques and tips video. So you can see how I actually create these little circles up close. I did that video and I had someone request it, and I think it was Wendy. And yeah, so it's done, it's dusted. It will be up the same day this video goes up, so you can have a look at it. And I just wanted to leave this nice and simple. I didn't want to go over the top with it. And then I thought maybe I could go around the title just with a bit of pen work, and it did make it pop. It was totally worth the extra effort. And you might think to yourself, Karen, what are you doing? You look like you spread eagle. I had to be super duper careful not to touch the liquid pearls, because normally I do that that's the last thing that I do. But this was a last minute thought, and I didn't damage any. I'll be honest with you, I didn't damage any. But Okay, so if you've made it this far in my video, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate the view. I would also like to encourage those that are watching that have not subscribed to please subscribe. It really helps my channel out. And or if you're getting value from my videos, please leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, share, subscribe, invite your friends. I've got a Facebook group and Instagram as well, and they are linked in the description below if you would like to jump over there and have a look at the close-up photos. That's a really good resource, you know, like it's kind of like Pinterest. You can just go and you can see everything close up. And that is my layout, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. Thank you so much, and I will chat to you then. Bye for now, guys.